Picture this. You're at a pivotal moment in your career, right? Staring at this maze of higher education options. You know an MBA could be the thing, but wow, all the paths, distance, online, executive, it can feel, well, overwhelming, like finding the right key for a lock you've never even seen. So today, on the deep dive, we're going to cut through that confusion. We want to give you the master key, basically, to understanding each option, especially through the lens of top Indian universities. Our mission isn't just comparing them, it's about figuring out which path really clicks with your ambition.
Yeah, it's a really common challenge people face. And especially now, I mean, the whole education landscape is changing so fast, isn't it? You've got incredible digital infrastructure popping up. The job market's constantly shifting. So yeah, the traditional in-person way, it's not the only game in town anymore. Maybe not even the best for everyone.
Exactly. That's why this deep dive feels so, well, crucial right now. We're going to really pull apart what makes each of these different the distance MBA, the online MBA, and the executive MBA. And we'll focus specifically on what's available and, importantly, recognized within India. So whether you're, juggling a demanding job or you're a recent grad thinking what next, or maybe even considering a total career shift, this is for you. We'll break down what each one is, who it's really for, which Indian institutions are leaders, and why one might be the absolute best fit for your goals.
It's really about finding that right strategic fit more than just any program. It's about your future.
Okay, so where do we start unraveling all this? Let's kick off with one people often mention for flexibility, the distance MBA. What exactly defines that path?
Okay, so fundamentally, a distance MBA is a management degree where students get study materials, maybe attend some optional contact classes, but they take exams without needing regular physical attendance. The core idea is learning on your own terms, at your own pace, wherever you happen to be. Self-paced learning is key.
Right, truly built for autonomy.
Yeah.
So which big Indian universities are known for doing this well? Who are the established players?
Well, you've got some really well-known ones. Indira Gandhi National Open University, IGNO. Everyone knows IGNOs. Then there's Symbiosis Center for Distance Learning, or SCDL, ICFAI University, Annamalai University, and Sikkim Manipal University, SMUDE. These are, some of the most recognized names for accredited distance learning in India.
That's a solid list. So thinking about that flexibility, who really benefits most? Who's the ideal candidate for this kind of distance MBA?
It's really great for working professionals who have, let's say, major scheduling constraints, maybe lots of travel or just really irregular hours. It's also good for individuals in, say, rural or remote areas where getting to a campus is tough. Homemakers may be looking to get back into the workforce. And importantly, people who are cost conscious but still need a recognized, valid degree.
Speaking of costs, this is where it gets really interesting, I think. I've heard distance MBAs are just way more affordable. Is that still true?
Oh, absolutely. Massively so. For instance, the total cost for an MBA from IGNO, it's around 62,000 rupees. Total. That's a huge difference compared to other options. And it's mostly because the model is lean, self-paced, less overhead, physical buildings, faculty time commitment is different. It really shows how education can be made more accessible, more democratic. And beyond just the cost, these courses are UGC, DEB, and AICT approved.
Okay, and just quickly for our listeners, maybe unpack those acronyms, UGC, DEB, and AICTE. What do they mean in the Indian context?
Sure. So UGC, DEB is the University Grants Commission Distance Education Bureau, and AICTE is the All India Council for Technical Education. These are basically India's top watchdogs for higher and technical education. So getting their stamp of approval, it's absolutely critical for your degree to be recognized, especially if you're aiming for government jobs or public sector roles. That flexibility to study at your own pace is obviously a single plus. And importantly, these degrees are widely recognized, especially in those sectors you mentioned.
Right, that government job recognition is definitely a big draw for a lot of people. But, every upside usually has a downside. For the distance MBA, what are the main limitations, especially thinking about those softer skills you might get from a traditional MBA?
Yeah, that's the main trade-off. The primary challenge is really the limited interaction. You get minimal direct contact with peers, with faculty, and that can definitely impact things like networking, learning collaboratively, developing those crucial soft skills like, real-time negotiation or structured teamwork. It also means you need a very high degree of self-discipline. You're pretty much driving your own motivation, sticking to the schedule. There's no professor checking up on you for assignments.
Yeah. No one to gently nudge you when Netflix looks way better than the textbook, huh?
Yeah,
That really does highlight the need for that internal drive. Okay. But what if you do want that more dynamic, real-time classroom feel, but without, physically being there? That seems to be where the online MBA comes in. Bridging that gap, what defines this one?
Exactly. The online MBA offers a more, let's say, interactive and structured experience. It uses digital platforms, think Zoom, or maybe a dedicated learning management system, an LMS that's basically your virtual classroom hub. These programs have live lectures, but also recorded content you can rewatch, case studies, quizzes, projects, and crucially, a lot more peer-to-peer interaction. It really tries to replicate that classroom vibe, just, online.
Sounds much more engaging than just getting materials in the mail, for sure.
Yeah.
Which top Indian institutions have really embraced this online MBA space? Who's leading the charge?
Well, quite a few reputable names now. Amity University Online, MEMS Global Access School for Continuing Education, Manipal University Jaipur has an online MBA, Jain University Online, ICFAI Online, UPES Online, quite a list. And what's really interesting is that even some IIMs are getting into this, often partnering with edtech platforms. You see programs from like IIM Kozhikode, IIM Ahmedabad online now.
Wow, an IIM online. That really does feel like a bit of a game changer considering their traditional campus reputation. Does this online format, say from an IM, carry the same kind of rigor, the same networking opportunities people expect, or are there maybe subtle differences? And who's this online IM path really built for?
That's a great point about the IMs. Like the online format obviously gives incredible reach, but the core academic rigor, that usually remains very high. The difference might be more in the style of networking. You still get peer interaction, absolutely, but maybe fewer of those spontaneous coffee break type chats you get on a physical campus. But they try to compensate with structured group projects, online forums, things like that. As for who it's for, well, the online MBA generally is great for mid-level professionals looking to upskill, entrepreneurs maybe needing to sharpen their business acumen, people who just can't relocate but want that structured interactive learning. And we're seeing more international students interested in Indian education picking this route too. No need to move.
So it's about broadening access to quality education, especially for folks already in the workforce. Beyond just being accessible, what are the big upsides of the online MBA route?
Well, the real-time interactive sessions are a huge plus. It feels much more like a traditional class. You usually get 24/7 access to the LMS, all the recorded lectures, digital library, so you can review stuff whenever you need. And it definitely facilitates peer networking through group assignments, online discussions, creates a collaborative space. Plus, the curriculum is often very industry relevant. A lot of these programs collaborate with big ed tech players, Coursera, Upgrad, Simplylearn. That collaboration isn't just about tech delivery, it's strategic. It helps keep the curriculum super current with what industry actually needs right now.
Yeah, that ed tech partnership seems like a smart way to stay dynamic. But okay, challenges. What should people be aware of if they're leaning towards an online MBA?
Right. Well, the cost is a bit higher than distance learning, usually somewhere between, say, 1.5 to 3 lakhs rupees. You also need the right tech setup. Stable internet is a must, a decent device. And look, while perceptions are definitely changing fast, some employers might still have a slight preference for traditional full-time degrees, though this is becoming less of an issue, especially with well-known university brands.
That's a fair point of perception, but like you said, it's evolving quickly. Okay, let's shift gears now to the big one, perhaps. The Executive MBA or EMBA. This feels like it's for a very specific type of professional, right? Almost like a career accelerator for people already moving.
Absolutely, that's a good way to put it. An executive MBA is specifically designed for working professionals who already have significant experience. We're typically talking 5 to 10 years, often in mid or even senior level roles. The curriculum isn't about foundational business stuff. It's heavily focused on leadership, strategic thinking, global management practices. It's less learn finance 101 and more apply advanced strategic frameworks to complex global problems.
Okay, so definitely for people already on a solid track, looking for that leap into serious leadership. Which institutions in India offer these really prestigious MBAs?
Yeah, these are the heavy hitters. The programs with immense brand value. You're looking at IIM Ahmedabad with their PGPX, IIM Bangalore's EPSIP, IIM Calcutta's PGPEX. Then there's ISP Hyderabad's PGP Pro, XLRI Jamshedpur, SP Jain Institute of Management and Research. These places are known globally for their quality, their rigor, and of course, their alumni networks.
And who are these elite programs really targeting? Beyond just experienced professionals, what sort of career goal does an MBA really serve?
It's aimed at mid to senior level pros who are seriously aiming for the C-suite, or maybe entrepreneurs who want to scale their business significantly. Also, experienced managers who need that global perspective, that advanced leadership training. It's really for people ready to make a major jump in their career path, and they want that elite network to help them get there. The network is huge.
Given those institutions, I mean, the advantages must be pretty substantial. What are the key benefits that really stand out with an MBA?
Well, the prestige and the global recognition are just unparalleled. That's number one. You get exposure to top industry leaders, you wrestle with complex global case studies that really push your thinking, and you become part of this incredibly powerful, often lifelong alumni network. That itself is invaluable. Plus, many of these programs offer international immersion trips, sometimes with tie-ups to huge names like Harvard, Wharton, INSEAD. That gives you direct exposure to global business cultures, different ways of leading.
Wow, that global immersion in networking sounds amazing, almost like building a whole parallel career while you study. But I'm guessing these programs also come with some pretty significant challenges. What should people brace for?
Definitely. First off, the financial investment is serious. Costs typically range from 15 lakhs up to maybe 30 lakhs rupees, sometimes more. Entry is also really tough, rigorous. Usually need GMAT or GRE scores or maybe the school's own test, followed by intense interviews. They're very selective. And then there's the opportunity cost. This is a big one. Some MBAs require a full-time commitment for a year or more. That means potentially stepping away from your job, losing income for that period, or at the very least needing to drastically restructure your work-life balance. I remember a colleague took a whole sabbatical for their MBA. Huge leap of faith, but yeah, the career boost afterwards was pretty clear. So for our listeners, beyond just the fees, what are those opportunity costs they really need to factor in?
That's a massive consideration, yeah, especially for people already established. It's not just tuition, it's lost earnings, maybe losing some career momentum while you study. Okay, that was a fantastic breakdown of each option. Now, just to give our listeners that quick bird's eye view, let's try a rapid comparison. All three side by side, key features. How do they stack up?
Yeah, good idea. Let's lay it out. Mode of study, distance is self-paced, mostly offline study materials, maybe some online bits. Online is that mix, real-time virtual classes plus recorded stuff. Executive is live classes, often intense weekends or short on-campus residencies, designed around a working schedule.
Okay, entry criteria. Clear ladder here. Distance usually just needs graduation, no experience needed. Online typically wants graduation plus maybe 1-2 years of work experience.
Yeah.
Executive demands that significant experience, like 5 to 10 years, sometimes more.
Fees. Huge difference, right? Distance is the most affordable, maybe 30K to 80K range. Online sits in the middle, say 1.5 euro to 3 a Tamil. Executive is that big investment, audio up to 30L plus.
Duration. Distance offers the most flexibility, could be 2 years, could stretch to 5 depending on your pace. Online is usually a standard 2 years. Executive tends to be faster, more intense, typically 1 to 2 years, get you back in the game quicker.
And best for. So, distance is ideal if you need ultimate flexibility and are on a tight budget, maybe for foundational knowledge. Online works well if you want interaction and structure but need to keep your job. Executive is all about accelerating an established career towards senior leadership.
And finally, accreditation super important. Distance usually has that UGC DEB, AICTE approval for validity. Online also UGC approved, often with those ed tech partners adding industry cred. Executive, especially from the top schools like IMS, ISB, carries premium AICTE approval and global recognition.
Yeah, that comparison really paints the picture, doesn't it? Shows how distinct each path really is.
It certainly does. So let's bring it home for you, our listener. How do you take all this and actually choose? How do you match it to your specific goals, your budget, your life? When should you pick which one?
Okay, so choose the distance MBA if, number one, you absolutely need the most budget-friendly option, or if you need maximum total flexibility because of other commitments. It's also a strong contender if your main goal is prepping for government exams, or you just need that recognized degree on your CV for foundational reasons. Ticking a box, basically.
Right. And the online MBA. When is that the sweet spot, especially if you want more engagement than just hitting the books alone?
Go for the online MBA if you really want that live faculty interaction, that structured learning feel, but you can't or don't want to leave your current job. It's also great if you value learning with peers, through group work, discussions online. And if you're looking for skills that are very current, very industry focused, it's for someone who wants that classroom energy but needs the location freedom.
Makes sense. And finally, the executive MBA. Who should really be laser focused on this one, given the heavy investment and demands?
Right. If you already have 5, maybe 7, 10 plus years of solid professional experience under your belt, and your sights are set high, senior leadership, C-suite, maybe international roles, this is probably your track. It's also for those who are ready and able to make that significant investment, both money and time, into a top-tier brand, an elite curriculum, and frankly, a very powerful network. It's about a very clear upward move.
There really are distinct pathways, aren't they? Each hitting a different spot depending on where you are and where you want to go.
Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap this deep dive, let's share some quick, crucial bonus tips. For anyone listening who's now seriously considering an MBA, what are the absolute must-dos?
First thing, always verify the AICTE or UGC recognition for any program you're looking at. Seriously, this is non-negotiable. It ensures your degree actually means something in the long run.
And on the flip side, any red flags to watch out for? Things to make you say, hang on a minute.
Yeah, be really wary of unrecognized private institutes making these wild, over-the-top promises about job placements or global recognition. If it sounds too good to be true, well, always dig deeper. Do your homework.
Critical advice. And thinking about the money side again, beyond just the tuition fee, what should people analyze to really grasp the investment?
You absolutely have to think about the return on investment, the ROI. Compare the total cost fees plus maybe opportunity costs with what you realistically expect in terms of salary increase, career progression afterwards. An MBA is a big investment. You want to make sure it's a strategic one that pays off for your goals.
Great point. And lastly, what about the real-world impact, the support system, especially if career change or advancement is the main goal?
Definitely research alumni reviews. Talk to people if you can. Find out about their actual experiences, where they ended up after the MBA. And look very carefully at the placement support or career services the institution offers, if that's important to you. That network and those services can sometimes be just as valuable as the coursework itself.
So there you have it. A pretty comprehensive breakdown, I think, of distance MBA, online MBA, and executive MBA, specifically in the Indian context. Each path clearly has its own strengths, caters to different needs, and the best choice. It really does come down to your individual career goals, your budget, and your lifestyle. It's not about finding the best MBA overall, but the one that's best for you.
And maybe a final thought to leave people with. In this world where learning never really stops, where the job market keeps changing, how will the specific skills, the strategic thinking, the networks you gain from your chosen MBA, how will that actually translate into the next big step for your career and maybe even your personal growth, something to really mull over as you weigh your options?